Hey guys, welcome to another video and welcome to 2024. Today we're going to be installing a dash cam. So for Christmas, Chelsea got me a dash cam for the car. It's going to be kind of cool because not only, if anything happens, I've got some footage of it, but also I can use this when I'm on the track and I can use my GoPros on outside of the car. Instead of only having one angle outside or a couple angles, we'll have multiple. So I just kind of wanted to do an unboxing of this whole thing. Now, not that I've already opened it, I've used it because I needed to test it, but I mean, so far it's been pretty cool. It can do up to 4K and 1080p. It's got built-in Wi-Fi, and by built-in Wi-Fi, it's essentially you can connect to this via Wi-Fi and you can download all the videos and stuff, which is nice. It's got a built-in GPS, it's got G sensors and stuff like that, parking monitoring, so that's actually really nice. I mean, so far I've used it on a rental car a couple days ago, or I'd say about a week ago, and it's been running really good. So to just open it up, you can see it's got the camera here. This will be your front one, LCD screen on the front, and it's got a little spot for your micro SD and buttons. And right here is where you'll be connecting the GPS that's connected to the suction cup. This would be your input for your rear camera, and this would be the input for power. And I'll get to that in a minute. That's why that box is there. But here is the suction cup. You'll be just putting it on your windshield, and I'm gonna put it right behind the rear view mirror. So that way it's kind of hidden, but it's in a nice little location. This comes with all the information on how this works, how to use it, how the buttons work without having to connect it to your phone and stuff, which is nice. And here's a rear view camera. Comes with a little sticky and a very, very long cable, which is nice. And the way I'm gonna be doing this install is I'm gonna actually be going from the top down the A-pillar and then down, not on top, because I don't want to mess up the roof of the car or any of the fabric. Also comes with some clips. I'll probably be using a couple of these, mainly maybe in the back or maybe up here up front, just to kind of tidy things up. And a little plastic clip or removal tool, which is nice. And that's pretty much it. So this does come with the plug for the cigarette lighter. If you have an extra one, that works, depending on the car. In this case, we only have the one. I could have installed a separate one and put it in the glove box or use it a different way, but I didn't want to do that. I wanted to make it clean. Didn't want a bunch of wires. I didn't want to have to rewire more stuff into the car or off the the battery or any of that sort. So what I did is I looked on Gen5DIY and I was able to get the adapter, essentially what would be dash cams and your radar detectors. So they send you this and it comes with your power source right here, which is great. This should be able to come out. This will convert it to what the proper power is, and so you're not running into any power issues. So yeah, this is everything that we'll pretty much need. Now keep in mind, this install, I'm probably gonna be watching what Gen5DIY did, because they have a way to be able to install this, but there's not an installation video for this one. Now this one in particular is the RedTiger. Chelsea said that there was really good reviews about it. I mean, I haven't really seen any of the video on a computer yet. It seems to be running really well as far as I could tell. Only thing is that you can run 4K, but you can't run 4K on dual video. So for example, you can, if you're only running this, you can do 4K, but if you're running both, that can do 2K and that'll do 1080p. You can't go further than that. Sucks, but I mean, it is what it is, and at least it's better quality video than some of the grainy stuff you may see. But when I was driving at night, it seemed to be running really well. It seemed to light up well enough. I'd have to see it on a computer and a bigger screen to get a better idea. So the first thing that we're gonna do is essentially we're going to install this portion first. We're gonna install the harness, and then we're gonna get this to poke out and then get this set to where we want it, get enough out so we can plug this in, but also being able to remove it, that's also important. You don't want to put it to a spot where it's not movable, or you can't remove this without taking this off and then it being a pain. So I'd most likely have it set like this, so that way it can pop out easier instead of being set like that. So it does come with a couple things here, some pads that, or some sticky spots that you would essentially place on your windshield, and it's got a nice little place for it, the suction cups to stick on. In this case, this one would be the 3M tape. The second one should be in here somewhere. I'm not sure where it's at. Might still be in the package, but it comes with a quick guide, user manual. I read the whole thing, which I always suggest, and just a way to register your stuff as well. First, we're gonna get started in putting the harness, and then we're gonna get that nice and buttoned up, and then we'll put this in, and then we'll do this part, which is gonna be the toughest part because we got to go through the entire car. But I'm gonna go from the top A-pillar on the passenger side down through the floor, and then through the seat and back out and up the back of the car and be able to stuff it in. The good thing is that a lot of our, I don't know if you can see it, I mean, the car's is pretty old, but or older, but you can see here where it's starting to kind of come down. Nothing that's too big of a deal. Might be able to get some adhesive and re-tack it back up, but the good thing is that I have not seen any issues. Yeah, it's not anything too big of a deal. Let's get started on this. We'll do the harness, then we'll put that in, and then we'll run the cabling. Hopefully it doesn't take too long, but you know how that goes. Might take forever. Let's get started. I'm not sure if you're gonna be able to see this, and I hope you can. The lighting isn't gonna be amazing, but I'll try and do my best. What I did is I essentially just grabbed this little tool, and you'll wanna use a plastic one as well. And you'll just wanna go onto the corners and then just slowly pry it down. You know, you wanna put too much force, you wanna break anything, and you're just gonna wanna go along the side to just kinda snap this portion out, and it'll essentially be the same on all four corners. Just got to be careful that it doesn't snap back in, as you saw here. And just want to be careful that you don't break anything, which I hope I didn't. I heard something snap real fast, so I'm hoping that that wasn't anything important. But yeah, you're just gonna wanna push down on it and have it snap out. So I want to see where it's being held up, which it might be back here, so I may need to move a couple things out of the way, but let me see if I can figure out where it's being held up. I was able to get it down. It just needed to pull down just a little bit more. So as you can see, there's a push clip there, and then one right there. So I was able to just pull it down and it came out. Mind you, I did watch Gen5DIY's video on this, and Matt showed me exactly, well, you know, he shows exactly where it needs to go. I don't know if you can see that. There's a little white and red clip right there, right in this little area, right on the top. You're gonna pull that out. Now you are going to need a small flathead or some sort of little tool, because this will help you get it out. I probably could be able to use that end. The flathead might make this easier, because the idea is this is essentially the clip that's gonna go in there, and you have to lift this tab to get it out. That's what I'm gonna do. Let's see if I can do this while showing you guys, so bear with me if you can't see exactly what I'm doing, but I'm going to try and do it at the same time. So dangled it just a little bit, and bam. And then this should pop out. Try not to break it. That's the important thing. I don't know if this is fully out, so push in and lift. There we go. You do need to push this little piece in, so just be cognizant of that. That'll drop down. So like I mentioned before, we're gonna have this come out through this side here. So, and cool thing is there's like a little spot for it to look like something can come out. I don't know if you guys can see that. There's a little hole there, which is pretty convenient. So, let me see if I can get this in here. And pushed through. This is very, very loose, so this may not go through very nice and easy. So, might take a little, might take a few tries. There we go. All right, I needed to kind of get my fingers in there to pull it down, and then that way you can get the rest of it out. As far as the slack and everything that's gonna go, I'm probably going to just tuck this up here, but what you're gonna do is this part is going to connect, there. So let's just do that part first. So let's get this connected. Looks like it's going to connect like so. Again, I hope you guys can see this. This is very tough to do with one hand. All right, guys, I can't do this with one hand. So what I'm gonna do is I'll show you guys what I did. Give me 1 second. All right, guys, so I was putting everything in right. It just looks like I was not just pushing it in all the way. So it does go in like this. So I had to test it with the other one, with the other side that it was on. So you're just gonna give it a little extra oomph for it to fully go in. There we go. So just gotta give it a little extra, and then a little red tab. I just used the car for leverage, just because it is pretty hard to get that in there. So the idea will be, we'll just try and stuff that in there. Now I just gotta put this piece back in. So I'm gonna have to do this without you guys, because I need both hands to do this side. So I'll show you once it's all back in, and I'll probably tidy this up so you guys can see it all fully back together, just because I showed you guys how to pull it out, take it off, and kind of where things need to go. This next part, I definitely need my hand. So I'll be right back. I got it all in. So as you can see, I got a better light too. As you can see right there, it's all plugged in. What I did is I tucked in that piece back there, so that way I have more slack here, but anything that's left over, I'm going to essentially just put back in. So that way I don't have this big old cable running down. What I'm gonna do right now is I'm actually gonna clean this area first, and then put the camera there, so then that way I can then plug it in, run the cable that I need to, because I'm just gonna run it along this line, and then probably gonna run it into here and down there, so I can get it down here, because there's no easy way to get it all the way down. So I'll have to figure this part out. But at least this part will be on, so if I don't get to the rear camera, I'm at least got the front one done, and then the rear one, we'll figure out when we get there. I'm gonna put the camera on right now and then get it all plugged in, close this up, and then we'll be good on the front end. Well, ran into a bit of a snag, but you know, what would an install be if you didn't? So the little clear pieces that they send you, yeah, it didn't sit right, and then it just looked bad, and that was going to drive me nuts. Now the problem that I was running into is that these little dots here won't let the suction cup grab very well. That's why this little piece here is very important. This will keep it from getting too, not allowing any of the air pockets to go through the suction cup, and then eventually it doesn't get any grip. So I'm gonna put this last one on. I'm not gonna need it for the back, because where the camera in the back is gonna be, it's gonna go straight onto the window, shouldn't be any issues. And plus it's 3M tape, not a suction cup, so it's gonna stick a little bit better. But just to show you guys what I did tighten this up a little bit better, or I tidied it up a little bit better. So I had this connector kind of go through the back, that's sitting there. So now this should kind of go in a little bit easier, a little more flush, so it's not gonna like pop out or anything. And this has some room to wiggle. You know, it's still pretty easy to get this out. There's still enough slack, so if I need to, for whatever reason, take it off, it makes it easier. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and put this back. Actually, I'm gonna try and do this now, so that way you guys can see. It should be a fairly simple, I think it's, yeah, so there's little hooks in the back here. I don't know if you guys can see them, these little hooks. So you're gonna hook these guys up like so, and then we're just going to pop it back into place. And that's it. Everything looks pretty good. Nice and flushed back in. Yeah, so now all I have to do is just get that part figured out. I'm gonna go ahead and re-clean it again, add that last one, and hope that I don't mess it up. So let's hope I don't. I will get back to you guys in a second. Now that we have everything back in place, come to find out that setting it on here is not gonna work. I did place the second piece of that electrostatic sticker, or whatever they call it, and it just kept falling off. So I had to just put it a little bit under here, which, I mean, to me is pretty annoying, but it's okay. I think if later down the line I decide to put a sun strip here, or a tint strip, that might be able to cling onto it a little bit better. But there's just these little dimples here, or the little black dots, they just don't allow it to fully get a good suction onto the windshield. So I got it as close as I could. This isn't like fully dialed in. You can see I'll probably just have to leave it as is and check it out and make the adjustments as I can. And for the most part, everything is nice and secure. So now I'm gonna try and see if I can put the rear camera in. I mean, technically, if I hold this and if I hold the on button, it'll turn on automatically. There we go. And recording. Bam. So that's cool. Every time I turn the car on now, it should be working really good. All the OnStar buttons are still working, no problems there. So it's a nice little feature. Probably leave it at like that or something. But you know, the more I drive it, the better I might be able to figure it out. It is a pretty extreme. There isn't like a spot like that would probably be the best. But the next click is just like right above, so, which is fine. I might be able to just kind of let it sit there, but I think with the vibration, it might just click back. But yeah, but it's on, so as you guys can see, and then when you turn it off, it turns right off. So that's nice. It gives me the ability to be able to not have to worry about it, no plugging anything in. And this, as annoying as this kind of might be, I didn't want to see a whole lot of cable, is the best case scenario. And those little clips too, once I get the rear camera in, I might be able to just kind of get it tight so you only see one little strip. Could have been worse. So let's get to the rear and let's see if we can get that one plugged in, and then I'll show you guys how it looks like with both of them plugged in. I have it connected there already. It's a little annoying that it's a right angle connector, but I'll get it all tidied up. It's not the braided cable, but I already have it running on top of here, and I was able to use this tool to get it to go through there, and I have it coming down in here right now. So what I'm gonna do is I'm essentially gonna have it come down here. I'm gonna try and get whatever I can in through here, although I'm not sure I'm gonna be able to get much. And we may have to turn around as far as being able to feed some of the some of this down into the bottom end. It's doable. It might be doable. It might be doable, but it's just going to be really tough to kind of get this little connector to feed down. So, I mean, kind of coming up may be a little bit easier. Quite honestly, it probably is going to be. We're probably just going to feed it up and through here. It's actually going to be much easier and faster. We might have a little extra, which we can tuck in the back, but that's okay. I'd rather it make it easier and less of a pain and struggle and take hours on end to try and get it to go through this little area here than just going through the top. So that's what I'm gonna do. So I'm gonna go back the other way, go through the headliner, and then I'll get back to you guys once I'm ready to put in the camera in the back. That one's gonna be a little bit tough, just because once I place it, it's pretty much done. So, I mean, I could get more 3M tape. I have double-sided tape, which would work, but first shot is always the best. So, let me get to it. And it's done. So, what I did is, I had it come through all the way through here, through this panel here, then 90 degreed, and then came out here. Only problem I'm running into is that there's a lot of extra cable. Like I had to go back and forth from this like 3 times. I came all the way over here, back again. So it was easier, but kept a lot of cable. So I'm probably gonna have to at some point pull it out, maybe zip tie it so that way it won't be all loose. But we have the rear camera in. I try to center it as best as possible. And I wanted to show you guys, sorry the car's super dirty, I haven't had a chance to clean it yet. Show you guys what it looks like. So that's what it looks like, and you can actually switch modes. So you can go from rear right here, front, to split. So, or the opposite, sorry, where you'll get the rear as the bigger and then the front as the smaller. You can do front only, rear only, or show you your miles per hour, your navigation, and all the dates and times are done by the GPS, so you never have to touch the time zone. And I don't know why it thinks we're going 3 miles an hour. We are 100% stationary, but it's probably just trying to figure out where the GPS is. So it's probably trying to get the signal since we're in a garage. That's off, and I'll probably just leave it there. Yeah, it picks up audio. Like I mentioned, you can't really change much of the resolutions on here. The screen might be too small for you guys. Oh, you can take pictures, as you guys just heard. You can lock the file you want, which is nice. You can go into different things. It's not touch screen, which is not the worst thing, but it would have been nice if it was. And like I said, there's only these 2 resolutions. You can't do 4K, but the front can only do it. And there's a lot. Speed stamp, GPS stamp, looping, date stamp, audio, the G4 sensor. There's a lot you can do. So it's actually really nice to be able to have all those options. Yeah, I'm just going to clean up a little bit, and yeah, I'll just finish this video up. So that's it, everybody. we have it fully installed. The only thing that I'm gonna just do is just put a couple of these little clips to make sure that the front is nice and tidy, and the cables aren't just like flying everywhere. And I might just go in the back real fast to get a couple zip ties, or pull the cables out, zip tie them, throw them back in, so they at least start together and have a little weight. I'm gonna go for a quick drive, and I'll throw the video on top of this from the dash cam so you guys can see the quality. It'll be a surprise to me, so I may just type something at the bottom to let you know, well worth it, or it's great but maybe not track worthy, or hey, you know what, better to have a dash cam than not, especially with all the cars that are being stolen right now, and then a lot of people, it's probably not a bad idea. For the most part, it was actually pretty simple to put this in. It only took me, without actually trying to film and everything, and maybe it took me about an hour and 20 minutes. It took me a little bit longer because I needed to film and I needed to kind of figure things out, but it's actually pretty quick, and I think a lot of you guys can do it as well. Like I mentioned, like the only thing is that there was a lot of excess cabling, so that was the only thing that I may need to figure out as far as routing, but everything's already in place. I'm excited to see how this works, especially on the track, and see how the timestamps look and what features I can actually put on. You can use an app, I believe it's Windows only. I have to check for Microsoft. I'm a Mac person, but I have both, so I want to see which one will work. But you can, from my understanding, you can get some of that data and throw it on there, so I'll just have to see. It'd be very nice because then I can use the GPS tracking and maybe overlay it on the entirety of my videos, so that way you guys can see what the track look like. Something that I've been trying to do with Track Addict app, but it hasn't been really working out. So if this mediates that, perfect. Gives us G-force, all that stuff. The only thing we don't get is RPM and braking, which would be nice. So I'll see what we can do out of that. Again, none of this is sponsored on any way, not from Gen5DIY, not from RedTiger. This was just something I wanted to do, and it's kind of nice to have it now. But thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for subscribing. 2024 is going to be a lot of fun. I'm excited. Check out some of my previous videos. I did a huge video dump right before the end of the year, so go and check those out. And yeah, more things to come, and hoping that by the end of the year we can have this car as a whole different beast. Trying to do clutch, trying to do springs, trying to do maybe supercharger, but one thing at a time. So we'll see what we can do first. But thank you guys again, and yeah, we'll see you guys on the next one.